So now we're going to talk about box and whisker plots. And you can see in parentheses here it says box plots. The reason why I put both box plots and box and whisker plots on here is because I sometimes mix the two up, because as you move on through your higher levels of math, you'll start calling them box plots instead of box and whiskers. But they mean the same exact thing. So what we're going to do first is we're going to talk about these things right down here. We're going to define what each of these things are. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the min. The min is the smallest number. The next one says quartile 1, also known as Q1. Quartile 1 or Q1. That is the median of the lower half. Then it says quartile 2 is the median. We know the median is the middle number of whole data set. So the middle number of the whole data set. The median is the middle number. Okay, so when we're talking about that, we want the median of the whole data set. Now there's a typo here. I need you to fix it on your paper. This should say quartile 3, which is known as Q3. That is going to be the median of the upper half. And then our max is our highest number. So far, these 5 things that I found, these 5 things are what we call the 5-number summary. Some of the questions that you're going to see, it's going to say find the 5-number summary. If it asks you for the 5-number summary, it's asking you for these 5 things. The min, Q1, Q2, Q3, and the max. The next thing that we're going to define right here says the interquartile range. That's known as the IQR. Most of the time you're going to hear it be called the IQR, not the interquartile range. Range we knew as the highest minus the lowest. So if we're talking about the interquartile range, we're going to talk about the highest quartile, quartile 3, minus the lowest quartile of quartile 1. So to find our IQR, it's just Q3 minus Q1. Now, to construct a box and whisker plot, we're going to use our 5-number summary, the min, Q1, Q2, Q3, and the max. So up here, I'm just going to write down 5 little lines. Leave some room above it because we're going to be filling in some stuff here. Now, once we make our 5 lines, the first line is for the min, which is our smallest number in the data set. The second line is our Q1, which is quartile 1. The third line is for quartile 2, which we also know as the median. Then we have quartile 3, and then we have the max. Once we have these numbers written in the line, we are going to make a box out of the middle 3. So the middle 3 come together and become a box. And then our min and our max are our whiskers. And so we just connect them with a line. This is what a box and whisker plot looks like. From the min to the max is 100% of the data. If all of this is 100% of the data, and we have 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, 100 divided by the 4 sections would mean that each section is worth 25% of the data. If each section is 25%, then the whole box in the middle is worth 50%. These percentages are important when it comes to analyzing a box and whisker plot and what it's telling us about the data. So we could say 50% of the data is between this number and this number, or 25% is below this number or above this number. Or if we were going here to the end, 75% is from here to here. That's where the percentages are important. So in question number 1, it says find the 5-number summary and construct the box plot by hand with no calculator. In order for us to create a box plot by hand, we need to make sure our numbers are written in order because it's going from smallest to largest, okay? So you can already see I've put these numbers in order for you to make it a little easier. So we want to find the 5-number summary first. You want to find the numbers in this order if you're creating a box and whisker plot by hand. First you want to find the min. The min is the smallest number. Smallest number is 3. Then you want to go ahead and find the max. Our max is our largest number, 22. So min, max. Then we want to find our quartile 2. Quartile 2, remember, is the median of the whole data set. So now that we know the min and the max, we need to find the median. So we're going to go in, and we can see that it's in between 12 and 17. So we take out our calculator. 12 plus 17 divided by 2 gives us 14.5. So our median, our quartile 2, is 14.5. Now that we have our min, our max, and our quartile 2, we're going to find quartile 1. Quartile 1 is the median of the lower half. This cuts the whole data in half and gives us the lower half and the upper half. So if I'm looking at the lower half of the data, from here, I'm looking at just these numbers. I'm going to start on the outside and work my way in until I get to that middle number. That middle number here is 5. So Q1 is 5. Then we'll do the same thing here with quartile 3. Okay, we can cover this side up. Start on the outside, work your way in, and we come to this point here of 20. So that means that 20 is our quartile 3. Once we have our 5-number summary, we need to construct the box plot. So we're going to make a number line. Doesn't have to be anything spectacular. This goes from 3 to 22. So let's do 0 to 25. So we'll do 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. And then right above the number line, we're going to draw little tick marks for each of our values here. So the first one that we had was 3. So I'm going to draw a little line at where 3 would be. I'm going to put a little 3 underneath of it. The next one we have was 5. So I'm going to put a 5 under it. Then 14.5 would be about right here. 14.5. If you can't fit the numbers underneath, just put them on top. That's fine. Q3 is 20. And Q4 is 22. I'm sorry, not Q4. The max. So once we have our 5 lines, remember we connect the 3 in the middle together. And then we're going to draw our little whiskers here and here. And this is what I'm looking for when I'm asking for your box and whisker plot. I want to see the number line underneath because you can see that there is a much smaller gap here and here than between 5 and 14.5. Then we're asked to find the IQR. Remember, IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So our Q3 is 20 minus Q1 is 5. So IQR is 15. It then asks what percent is between 3 and 5. So if we're looking in between 3 and 5 is this little gap right here between the first two numbers. If we refer back up to this picture up here, between the first two numbers is how much percent? 25%. So there is 25% here, so our answer, 25%. Question number 2 is asking us to find the 5-number summary using the calculator. So this is where you definitely need your calculator, okay? Hopefully you've been grabbing it every day, but if not, go ahead and grab it again. Make sure you are resetting your calculator. Second plus 712. Always reset it just in case. You never know what the person in front of you has done to it. So over here to the side, we're going to write down our functions for our calculator. I will allow you to use the calculator here for all of these box and whisker plots that you are going to create today, but you need to make sure you know how to construct one by hand so that if you go home and you have to work on a problem that you do not have a calculator for, you know how to construct a box and whisker plot, because you do not need a calculator. It's just going to make it a little easier. So when we have our calculator, the first thing we need to do is enter the data. So to enter data, you're going to press the Stat button, which is right here, Stat, and then you're going to select Edit, or Enter. So Stat, Edit. And I'm going to write Enter in parentheses, because that's all you need to do. Hit Stat and Enter. Once you're in this screen, we are going to type in all of the different data points. 5. To go to the next one, hit enter and it'll take you to the next space. So 5, enter, 8, enter, 7. Be careful when you're typing in here. Do not type too fast, otherwise it's not going to register a number, especially if you have double numbers like 33 or 44. It will not register both and then you'll get incorrect answers. So be very careful and type very slow here. Once we have all our data points entered, we're going to calculate. So to calculate, you're going to press your Stat button again. So that same Stat button that we used before. This time we're going to move over to where it says Calc. And then we are going to select the first option that says 1 var stats. And that means one variable statistics. Remember, univariate means one variable. So 1 var stats, hit enter. And then we're just going to keep hitting enter, 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 enter until it comes up with a screen like this. Okay. If you look at this screen here, you notice at the bottom it says min and then Q1. Well, over here, we have min and we have Q1. And you can see that there's an arrow pointing down. If you bring this arrow all the way down, you will see min, Q1, median, Q3, and our max, which is our 5-number summary. So we're just going to bring those numbers over here. 4, 5, 7, 11, and 20. Q2 is the same thing as the median. The IQR is not given to you in the calculator. It's something you'll have to find on your own. If you want to go ahead and find that now, we can. IQR, Q3 minus Q1. So 11 minus 5 is 6. These are the functions in the calculator. Keep this close whenever you're using the calculator until you have them memorized. So now we have our 5-number summary. So now we have to construct our box plot. So our smallest number is a 4 and our largest number is 20. So on our number line, we can go from 0 to 20. And we're going to make our 5 lines. First one's at 4. Next one's at 5. Then we have 7, 11, and 20. So we're going to connect the 3 in the middle and then to the sides. And there's our box and whisker plot.